Testing. All right, we're going to get started in about a minute, so if you want to make your way to your seats.
Oops, that was 3 bells.
The dinner bell?
All right, well, welcome everybody to the June 13th meeting of Delta Amateur Radio Club. Before we get going, just a few housekeeping reminders. We're working on the coffee. Scott is not here this week, and it took us about 30 minutes to figure out how to work this thing. So hopefully by the time break rolls around, we'll have some coffee for you if you'd like any. Make sure that you sign in. We've got the rosters over there, so if you paid your membership or if you haven't renewed yet and you're doing that tonight, you should have a spot over there. And then we also have a sheet for guests, if there are any guests who are attending tonight. There's also a roll of tickets over there, so since we've got some new faces, what we do is that put your name and call sign on one of the tickets, and each time that you attend a meeting, you can fill out one ticket. Even if you're not a member yet and you're just a guest, you can still do that. And then in November, whenever we have our elections, at that meeting we'll have some drawings. So it could be for an antenna, could be in the past we've had like TVs and stuff. I mean, all kinds of random things. So we won't know what we're going to be giving away until later on in the year, but either way, who doesn't like free stuff? So fill that ticket in, toss it in the bucket, and hopefully you'll have some good news and rewards come to November. All right, so before we do our introductions, we're trying something new. I want to have anybody who is a new member to Delta Club, whether you joined tonight or whether you joined in the past few months, if you are a new member, would you please stand? Awesome. And then would you give your name and call sign for us? Or if you don't have one, just give us your name and...
Sean Falston, I'm a new owner of radio, and I'm willing to learn.
All right.
Here to do so.
And then...
Yeah, so I'm Aaron, KI4OTH.
Okay.
I'm Aubrey, KG4YZW, and we're past members. It's been a long time that we rejoined.
Oh, y'all were new tonight. It's been a while, so good deal. Well, we're glad to have you. I want to encourage everybody.
Oh, they want me to stand up too?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Josh, Kilo Quebec 4 in the Oscar Sierra. Some of y'all probably heard me on the net that night. I just got my general license tonight, so.
So we've got 4 new faces here who have joined. So during the break or after the meeting, if you've got a couple minutes and you see that they're not being bugged by anybody yet, I want to encourage you to hop on over there and maybe see what interests they have in ham radio, or offer, if you're an expert in a certain area of it, maybe offer your help or whatnot. So we certainly want to make our new members welcome. So thank you for joining, guys, and thanks for coming. All right. So with that, we'll start on this end and do our introductions of name and call sign. Wanna get started?
Bob, K4KWR.
Ned, KA4BLL.
Tom, N4LIA.
Jim, N4VOK.
Bob, KM4SEB.
Glenn, K4KKQ.
Eric, AK4YD.
John, KO4CQS.
Dana, WI3B.
Jim, KJ4TCE.
Mike, KW4RI.
Ready.
Joe, KO4WAR.
John, KM4BBH.
Rod, KQ4CNU.
Bob, KO4ZCJ.
Dan, KN4BJ.
Janet, KN4 FB5.
Jose, KJ4TCJ.
Steve, KK4VPT. Ham, W4GML.
Bill, KK4VPS.
Joe, KG4CZH.
Richard, J4DXF.
Rick, WA4MBM.
Bob, KW4RJ.
Ty, KX4MQ.
David, Whiskey 5, Delta Juliet Whiskey.
Aaron, KI4OTH.
Aubrey, KG4YZW.
Josh, KQ4ILS.
Joe, WA4OEO.
Sean, KN4WKF.
Sean, NUBE.
Gary, November 4, Golf Juliet.
Paul, Kilo Yankee 4, Mike X-Ray, and that's my first ever pot of coffee, so forgive me.
Your name is Mud.
Mike, KM4MRW.
And Mary Jean, KY4FB. And Pat, would you like to do your name and call sign?
Yeah, Pat, W4OQG.
Barry
Barry.
Barry 1.
Introduce yourself. Barry 1.
WB4SWP.
All right. So again, welcome everybody. I'm actually really surprised we've got such a good turnout because I know there's several of our members who are traveling right now. There's several who have had surgeries or sick or whatnot. I know summer is a very busy time for a lot of people, so we're really glad that you took the time to prioritize being here tonight to learn about ham radio and to congregate with your fellow ham radio operators. So, before we get started, we'll need to take a vote on the secretary's minutes and the
Make a
treasurer's
motion to
report.
accept the secretary's minutes and the treasurer's report is published in Spark.
Second.
All right, so Han Hilliard made a motion to accept the secretary's minutes and the treasurer's report as published in Sparks. Dan, KN4FB.
Give it to Ned.
All right, Ned, KA4BLL, seconded the motion. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of accepting these, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Any opposed likewise? All right, the motion unanimously passes. Thank you. We'll start with, is Bob still here?
Right here.
Look right over the date.
We had one upgrade tonight, Josh, to the general.
Surprised, didn't you know you were about to give the program tonight? No. All right, so I know Joe's gonna have a few things, so we'll hand it off to Joe.
All right, for training, we do have a tech class. We're trying to get together. We've got 7 students so far. It's July the 10th through August the 14th on 6 Monday nights from 6:15 to 9:30. It'll be at the Memphis Police Department, Appling Farms Precinct Training Room, except for the exam night, which is August the 7th. They've got a conflict, so we've got this room for the testing that night. Hopefully we'll get 3 more. I try to have at least 10 people in a class because we have an attrition where it's pretty bad when you're down to 1 or 2 people in a class. We like to have at least 10. Then the next item is that Huntsville bus trip is August the 19th. We leave Germantown Baptist Church at 6:30 in the morning, getting down to the Von Braun Center, and then leaving after the 4 o'clock grand prize drawing, getting back about 7:45, 8 o'clock. The current fare is $99. It includes the transportation, the entry to the Huntsville Ham Fest of $15, the 2 breakfast biscuits of either Danvers breakfast biscuits of ham or sausage, and water, sodas, cookies, and crackers like we have up front on the way down during the day, as well as whatever's left over on the way back. One thing, if you are going to Huntsville this year, the concession stand will not take cash. You have to have a credit card to buy anything at the concession stand at the Von Braun Center.
You have to have 2 IDs for
But one of the nice things, the bus backs up to the loading dock to where you can bring your goodies that you purchased and leave them on the bus so you don't have to carry them around all day. And you can come back and rest your weary feet in a nice, comfortable seat that usually the buses, depending on how the weather is, the buses, the air conditioning is usually on. So that's nice. However, the fare will go up on the 12th of July to $119. So you can pay at field day, or you can pay at next month's July meeting, Delta Club meeting. So we've got 7 paid right now, and I believe there's 2 or 3 others that have committed to saying that they want to go and haven't paid. So we're a little bit on the shy side right now. We'll make a determination for sure at the July meeting as to whether we'll go or have a bus going or not. I'm hoping that we can, but we're going to have 28, 30 people. And if you if you're going to go, encourage more people to go, because if we can get, I think it's 38 people on the bus, it's a 56 passenger bus. If we can get 38 people on the bus, we can probably refund $5 or so. On the board has discussed that. So it depends on what the numbers are going down, if you're really going to have to pay $99 or not.
Anybody have any questions? All right, well, since we do have a lot of new faces in here, I know we've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. If you're on the fence about going to Huntsville Hamfest, I would encourage you to sign up and go on the bus trip. I'm not going to pretend like $99 is not a lot of money, because it is, but you really get your money's worth out of that. I know I've gone, like, I guess as long as I've been a ham, 3 or 4 years now. Or no, I guess it's been longer than that. Time flies. But, you know, there's a lot, everything's gone up with inflation. Fuel's expensive. It's not going to get any cheaper, more than likely, between now and then if you're wanting to drive. And like he said, that you really can't beat the opportunity that when it's lunchtime, even if you're tired because you've been walking for 3 or 4 hours and you've got something to eat, well, every seat is normally taken. And so it's nice to be able to go back to the bus and sit in the air conditioning for a little bit, kind of rest, and then get back out to go hunt for more bargains and whatnot. So if you're on the fence about that, I'd certainly encourage you to go. And if you have any questions, you know, get in touch with us, and we can answer your questions or concerns or whatnot as well.
Actually, some new people can buy equipment from the older hams,
Yep.
taking equipment. That's been done several times. Somebody's taken equipment down on the bus to sell it, and another ham buys it before it even gets down there.
Because something else, if you're not familiar with Huntsville Hamfest, it seems like it's one of the larger ones that goes on. There's a lot going on. So there's a bunch of vendors that sell new equipment. A lot of times they'll have deals on what they've got. So it's a great time. I know some of them are kind of changing it up now, where you can go in and order it and they'll bring it out to you on the side. Some you can walk right up and pick it off the shelf and pay for it. But that's a great time. If you want to actually talk to somebody for that company, I mean, they're the sales guys, so they know everything they need to know about that product. Of course, you can ask any. What I've taken advantage of is when I've gone to purchase equipment and I'm not really sure, I've gone to some of our members who went on the bus trip with us and went and kind of nudged them and was like, hey, can you come and tell me if this is a good deal or not? And they gave some good advice there. So they've got new equipment for sale. There's a massive section for like a flea market style where they've got used equipment, all kinds of gear, antennas, radios, electronic components, things like that for pretty good prices. I normally try to take a list to go and stock up on stuff at Huntsville, so it's certainly a good time to do that. And then throughout the day, they've got seminars. So the seminars, you could have, I know ARRL normally hosts a meeting or two where they kind of catch up everybody on what's going on. But some of the more fun ones, I guess, there's stuff where they'll cover emergency response. I think in the past they've done how they use HF radio response in lightning information. They've done weather balloons. I haven't looked to see what they're gonna, if they've posted yet, what the seminars are, and I'm sure we will announce it when they are, but they've got a lot of good information. So, I mean, if you even want to just go and learn from some of the best in the industry, they've normally got some seminars where they cover that. So it's a really good opportunity that if you want to go and cram a bunch of information into one day, that's the day to do it. So I hope you consider making the trip with us. All right, so Field Day. Field Day, Delta Club is partnering with Neshoba, Mara, and Shelby County Aries to have an event location at the Germantown Municipal Park in Germantown, Tennessee. So it's, if you are familiar at all with where the Germantown Performing Arts Center is, it's the park that's to the immediate south of it. So we've got a few stations that are going to be set up. So Joe and Lynn said that they would cover the information table. Steve Frazier is going to have he'll be operating the Get on the Air table. So Get on the Air or GOTA station is great. So if you have not done any HF work at all, that's the station that would be good for you to get started on. It's a great way to kind of get your feet wet, see what it's about. If you don't have your license, or if you've got a family member who doesn't have their license yet, but they've kind of been interested in ham radio, but they're not really wanting to learn from you, bring them out to, well, you know how they are. Bring them out to this event, and that's a good station for them to get on if they don't, or that is the station they would get on if they don't have a license yet, and maybe hopefully kind of catch that little fire to light their interest in ham radio. So Steve is going to be operating that. Matt Ryan is going to be operating, and these are just the lead station operators. Matt Ryan is going to operate the 15 meter and the 80 meter station. Fred Miller is going to be operating the 20 meter station. David Wilkie is going to be operating the digital modes on solar, right? On solar. Rick Tillman is going to be operating a satellite station. Pat Lane will have CW. And then John is going to hopefully have a setup for the logging network router. And we're going to go over more of that later, I know. So the software that Steve is going to cover tonight is going to be the software that we're going to use for Field Day. We'll have free food and snacks throughout the event. So starting with lunch, we'll probably have deli sandwiches a little bit before the event starts. Whoever's there at that time, in time for dinner, we'll have hamburgers and hot dogs on the grill, and of course the trimmings and everything to go along with it. And then breakfast served on Sunday morning for whoever's there. We'll also have snacks and drinks and plenty of water for you throughout the day. So whether it's really hot like it's been in the past few years, or whether hopefully if the weather plays out to be pretty comfortable, we'll still have plenty there for you. And so it's a great time if it's been a while since you've gotten on the air and you want to try something different. If you're totally new and you just need some ideas on how to set up your station or whatnot. I mean, I could sit here and probably go on and on and on about how many different types of people would be great to attend this Field Day event. So we'd love to have you out.
How does the overnight part of it work?
It gets real dark.
Sweet, thank you.
The solar.
Yeah, so
You have plenty of batteries.
so for those who, and I guess I should have said this earlier, so Field Day, it's essentially kind of a chance to do contesting, but it's really geared towards public exhibition. So this is our chance to really get out, to set up basically an exhibit of what ham radio is. A lot of, pretty much everything that's out there is going to be run self-sufficiently. So a lot of stations will be running on generators, some will be running on solar power. And so this really shows people that when things fail, ham radio doesn't, and it's there. And so the event itself starts at 1 o'clock on Saturday. It'll go to 1 o'clock on Sunday. And so, like he said, we'll have stations. There's a couple other folks who have volunteered to stay up in the middle of the night. If you are a night owl and you are really interested in getting on the radio for something that you have or don't have, that might be a good time if you want to get in touch with that lead station operator and say, hey, I don't mind staying there till midnight or, through the night or whatnot, if you want to do that. Or come out in the middle of the day and check it out when everybody's out there. So we will have folks who are on site throughout the night. I don't know that every station is going to be going through the night, but if folks are willing to be on the air, then people will be out there, so that way it's a safe environment. And in the past, I think we've had security come by every now and then to kind of check in and all that. So we do keep that in mind as well. But we haven't had any issues, so we're looking forward to it.
We camp out or something, or?
No campers are allowed on the property.
Tents?
I don't think we've had any. Well,
Heck no, you're working the radio all night, man.
I don't know, man.
There's one gazebo, if it rains.
Oh, there you go.
yeah, there's gazebos. We'll do the 10 by 10 tents. Folks are probably every now and then there's a couple
Get to
pictures
sleep
you
in
can
a
go
tent,
back
you
through.
might as well
Folks
go
with those
home.
back in their chair. And so I guess they could go out to their car and take a nap, or some people would run home and then just get up there at 3 or 4 in the morning.
I mean, yeah, and that's it. I mean, if you're gonna sleep, you might as well go home. But like I said, and that's dependent on, because I'm the one that's done the nights for quite a while.
Okay.
It is. It's just kind of dependent on the weather. If it rains or something. But that's the thing. You're out in the public, so I have slept in the car a little bit, but you're kind of tempted to at least take the radio and some other stuff into the car with you. So.
Right, that's why I was asking, because
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were gonna do like a night shift type of thing where somebody's rotating.
Well, since you volunteered, yes. Since you seem to be concerned about it, yes.
No, I'm just curious.
Well, we've had a couple people, if they knew that nobody was going to be working their station overnight, they put their radio in their car and taken it with them. So we've had a couple people in the past where they knew they could only be there on Saturday, so they worked as late as they could, took their stuff, and then somebody else came and did their small setup on Sunday.
I mean,
So
as far
it
as
honestly
somebody
depends.
coming out there, I would say that it's pretty safe that somebody's going to be there until 10 o'clock at night, and probably early in the morning. After 10 and before 6 or so,
Okay.
I wouldn't make a special trip out there from far away and show up at 2 in the morning if somebody's decided to go home.
But if you were wanting to make a 2 a.m. appearance, just reach out to whomever is in charge of the station you want to operate to see if they're going to be there or not, I guess is the thing. But good point. Any other questions or comments? Han?
You don't need to bring that mic. Everybody can hear me. We're not going to do field day at Millington this year. Had lack of participation, so we're not going to do it. So if anybody was thinking about coming out, seeing us, we're not going to be there. I'll be with you guys in Germantown. But I want to say one thing. Yeah, I know, it's a big deal. Everybody's going to want to come just because I'm going to be there. I know. But
Something like that.
and I'm not going to stay all night. Field Day is a great public event. I agree. But the spirit of Field Day is for hams to check their equipment, if they can operate in an emergency situation. That is why Field Day started. It's still a viable thing, but at the same time, it's a great opportunity for us to expose the public to ham radio. Second thing is propagation ought to be great. The bands ought to be open all night long, so there's no reason to quit and go home because you can't get anybody. They'll be there all day. 10 meters may not, but 15, 20, 40, and 80 meters, we ought to go all night long. So just, that's from many years of experience.
6 meters of hopping this past weekend.
Yeah, 6 meters may even be open, so. If you haven't ever been to a field day, you need to show up because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, pop by and we'll feed you if you're there at the right time. So, and then also,
Be sure, if you do come out, please be sure to sign in.
Yes.
So we can get,
so
how many people we've had at the field day.
when you get to the park, you should see everybody there with their little tents or setups or stations or whatnot, but there is a big gazebo in the middle of the park, the Kiwanis Pavilion. Head there, that's where we're gonna have the food, that's where we're gonna have the check-in station, and that table's gonna be, should be in the very middle where you can't miss it. So come to that pavilion when you first get there, so that way we can see who all gets in and all that. And then I forgot to mention earlier as well, this is especially good for those who aren't really sure how to set up some of the new equipment, but setup should start by around 8 or 9 in the morning. So if you have any interest at all, and I mean, we can always use the help setting up, but if you want to see how it's done, see how some of these antennas are hung, see how some of the equipment is put together and things like that, that is a great time to be there because I'm sure the help is going to be needed. But then also it gives you a chance to see how to set up different things that you might be thinking about buying. So that's a good opportunity as well to learn some things. Did you raise your hand?
Just a question. I couldn't remember from last year, but is there like a water access there, like a water hose that I could use? My plan is to fill like a 5-gallon ice chest with just ice, and then when I get there, put water in it because I'm going to run like a mister in front of the fan.
Over by that restroom area, I think there is.
Yeah.
By the restroom,
Yeah.
if I remember right, there was a spigot.
Okay.
I can't remember for sure.
We go out there and check.
Yeah, it might not, if that's something you specifically want, it might not hurt to go and check beforehand.
Well, I mean-
And I'll have, one of those drink coolers, like the Gatorade coolers. What I'll do is I'll bring some ice down water and have it, but I mean, that would, I guess.
I mean, it's just a matter of me carrying water from the house
Yeah.
there. Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that there's a spigot or a faucet in the men's restroom.
Yeah, I can always just.
yeah, take a bucket or bowl or something.
Germantown Pool's right around the corner.
$10 and the water that comes out of your faucet at home's gonna be great. Just saying.
But good question. Any other questions, comments about field day?
And I have the tip right here.
Give us the date again.
The 24th and the 25th of June. So not this weekend, but next weekend, right? Okay. And so again, that's a Saturday and a Sunday at Germantown Municipal Park. So we've got some details. We've got some details in Sparks, but of course, if you have any questions as well, you're welcome to ask. Let me know, and I'll get you in touch with the right person. All right, is there anything else that we need to cover before we take a break? All right, so we're going to take about a 10-minute break, and then we're going to have our program after that. So this is a good time. Again, if you haven't signed in yet, we've got the sign-in sheets over there. If you haven't filled out your ticket yet, fill out your ticket, and then we do have coffee up here, decaf up top, and regular coffee down below. So hopefully it'll be nice and strong and get you awake to learn about building programs. All right.